Good afternoon. My name is Justin Myers. I'm the Chief of Staff to the Office of Public Safety, led by Deputy Mayor for Public Safety, Philip Banks. We're joined here today during Gun Violence Awareness Month by Mayor Eric Adams, Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services, Ann Williams Isom, Chief Medical Examiner, Dr. Jason Graham, NYPD First Deputy Commissioner, Edward Caban, and NYPD Deputy Chief and Commanding Officer of the Forensic Investigation Division, Brian McGee. From the moment Mayor Adams took office, he made combating gun violence from all fronts a top priority. At the beginning of 2022, Mayor Adams tasked the Office of Public Safety with conducting a comprehensive review of New York City's public safety ecosystem at all city agencies to see where investments could be made to crack down on gun crimes and ensure they were handled efficiently throughout the entire criminal justice system. Working in close collaboration with the Medical Examiner's Office, one area that was identified as an opportunity for investment and innovation was the investigation and analysis of gun crime evidence. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Mayor Eric Adams to give us an update on the announcement that he made last year.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks so much, Justin. And, one of my favorite people, Chief Medical Examiner, Dr. Jason Graham, and your entire team here. They just get stuff done, for so long. And I remember one of the most significant moments in our history was in 2001 after the terrorist attack, and the role that OCME played in identifying bodies, bringing closure to family members. And now that we look at the terror of gun violence, and with all of the recent introductions, the desire was to make sure that DNA evidence was processed on gun crimes and gun collars. And it was a difficult task. And when we sat down with the doctor, he came up with, this is what we need, Eric, to make it happen. Because that starts the prosecutorial process. If we didn't have that evidence, if we were not able to identify the person who actually had the gun, then it could slow up the entire process. And in some cases, it allowed people to walk free. And we wanted to be clear to move forward to address this issue and come up with a real way of making it happen. I say it over and over again, the prerequisite to prosperity is public safety and justice. And guns are really one of the major drivers of the violence we see in the city. When you look at the fact that we are witnessing a decrease in shootings, a decrease in homicides, some of our major crime categories are going down. There was a level of comfortability that bad guys thought they can carry guns and use them to carry out very dangerous actions. Reducing gun violence has been a central focus of this administration. And in order to do so, it's more than the police officer making the apprehension. I say it over and over that there are many rivers that feed the sea of violence. We dammed one of those rivers by giving this office the tools that they need. We announced this unit's creation, the OCME DNA Gun Crimes Unit, the first and only unit of its kind in the nation. It was announced, and I promised we would be the fastest lab to analyze and test evidence from gun crimes. Promise made, promise kept. I'm proud to announce that the OCME DNA Crimes Unit has achieved a 30-day or less turnaround time for testing, analysis of evidence from gun crimes. During the month of May 2023, the New York City OCME achieved a 28-day turnaround time for DNA testing of gun crime evidence. New York City is now home to the fastest big city lab for testing and analyzing evidence. We're the best at what we do. If this is the best city on the globe, and I'm the best mayor on the globe, then you got the best OCME office on the globe and the best staff that's here represented in this city. This means those involved in gun crime cases are being brought to justice faster, and we are getting more guns off the street. We are saying to all those who commit gun crimes, the evidence doesn't lie. Science is coming for you faster than ever. often say that heroes don't only wear capes, some of them wear lab coats, and those lab coats wearing heroes came on board and made their cities safer by participating in this initiative. This is the best medical examiner, forensic science, and crime lab in the nation and the world. This is the real CSI New York. I still don't understand why people want to leave here and go to Miami, but you know what? They'll be back. They are using the power of science to keep our community safe. And I just again want to thank Dr. Jason Graham for just really properly identifying what the needs were and how we could turn this around. And he kept up with his promise. He's helping the criminal justice system to convict guilty, exonerate the innocent, and keep our communities safe. Every New Yorker should feel safe. Every New Yorker should not have to worry about their children, should not have to worry about walking the streets, should not have to worry about being a victim of an unattended target bullet destroying their lives. That is what we're fighting for, and the OCME DNA Gun Crimes Unit is delivering the results to get guns off our streets and keep New Yorkers safe. Thank you so much to all of you, this entire team here, for what you do. You are not ignored. We notice your work, and we are proud to be part of this team of keeping our city safe. Thank you. Thank you.
Up next, we'll hear from Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Jason Graham.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Mayor. Those were wonderful remarks, and we greatly appreciate them, and we are so delighted to have you back with us here again at the OCME, and we're grateful for your support of our agency always. I want to also thank our Deputy Mayor Ann Williams-Eisen, our Deputy Mayor for Health and Human Services. You are a champion for OCME, and we could not accomplish this initiative today without your support. I also want to acknowledge First Deputy Commissioner of the NYPD, Caban, Forensic Investigation Division Chief McGee, and to all of our distinguished guests. We truly thank you for joining us today. Nearly 1 year ago to the day, we gathered here to announce the formation of our new DNA Gun Crimes Unit and to put forward an ambitious goal. I'm proud to say that within 1 year, we've achieved that goal and more. Our turnaround time for testing DNA gun crime evidence now stands under 30 days, as the mayor shared. That is the fastest turnaround time of any big city lab in this nation. This milestone is made possible by the dedicated DNA Gun Crimes Unit, including 24 new forensic scientists, all hired and trained within the past year since our announcement. These New Yorkers answered the call to serve their communities through forensic science. OCME has a long history of science serving justice for more than a century. Today, as we recognize Gun Violence Awareness Month, we're writing an urgent new chapter in that mission. Faster testing results will help the criminal justice system resolve cases as quickly as possible. Quicker turnaround times will also hasten answers to victims, families, and communities who are affected by gun violence. And as with all our work, these findings may help convict the guilty or exonerate the innocent. OCME stands uniquely at the crossroads of public health and public safety. We'll continue to do our part as doctors and scientists with accuracy and impartiality to help end the public health crisis of gun violence in our city. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we'll hear from First Deputy Police Commissioner Edward Caban.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Dr. Graham, and the whole team that stands beside me. And make no mistake about it, it is a team. Just look around. When we talk about public safety, we often say it's a shared responsibility. Most often, this means our partnership with the public, but it also refers to our counterparts across the vast criminal justice system. And while the NYPD plays a vital role at the beginning of a gun case, with your officers running toward gunfire, risking their lives, taking thousands of illegal guns off our streets, and arresting our criminals, the apprehension is just the beginning. What happens after the gun is recovered is part of a much larger ecosystem. And in the name of justice, there are often more questions than answers in the story of a gun. Who pulled the trigger? Is it connected to other crimes, to other shooters? Filling in those gaps and building a strong case requires many hands, from investigators to district attorneys, to the forensic investigators who join us here today. The Office of the Chief Medical Examiner has always been a vital partner on the path toward justice. And now, with this new investment in science and in staffing, the team at the DNA Gun Crimes Unit are posting results that exceed every expectation. This means swift enhancement to gun cases, stronger prosecutions, and ultimately, a safer New York City for everyone. So far this year, shooting incidents are down by 25%. That means roughly 170 fewer people have been shot this year compared to last year. There's always more work to do, but the momentum we are seeing is very encouraging. I want to echo the mayor in offering my sincerest thanks to Dr. Graham and his team. Your hard work and that of your team is woven into those numbers, and we are so grateful for your partnership. Finally, I say thank you to the entire NYPD team. Whether you are making a gun arrest, pulling a fingerprint, or debriefing a shooter, it takes all of you every day to drive down violence. You have my deepest respect and admiration. Thank you for all you do.
Or for the commissioner, how many guns have actually been tested in this year-long period, and prior to the formation of the unit, what was the average turnaround time?
Dr. Graham, what do you want to do?
Thank you for that question, Rocco. I'm going to bring in our expert, Chief Brian McGee, head of the lab.
Good afternoon, Rocco. And just before I could answer that question, I just want to reiterate what Mr. Mayor Adams and the commissioner said about teamwork, and we work hand in hand with the OCME. So Dr. Graham and Tim Cooperschmidt, thank you for all that you do in that partnership that we have. But most importantly, it's the criminalists behind us and up top. And thank you for what you do. You bring solace to victims. So really, thank you, Rocco. It's 3,300 guns that have come through the lab. Most have been tested. That was the number I got as of this morning.
Prior to the formation of the unit, maybe Dr. Graham could speak to this, the average turnaround time.
Yeah.
Yep. Prior to the formation of this unit, we, in our forensic biology, our DNA laboratory, we had a turnaround time that was, even prior to the formation of this unit, better than the vast majority of the country, which was less than 60 days. And now we've reached an unprecedented turnaround time of 30 days or less.
What is the biggest challenge in the turnaround? Is it the equipment that you have? Is it the number of people who are doing the analysis? What creates the necessary long time to turn around the results?
Well, there are many factors, as you would imagine. The caseload and the complexity of the work itself. No two cases are exactly alike, and so we continuously try and balance our caseload so that we can achieve the quickest turnaround time possible. But with the additional infusion of 24 criminalists, that has been what it took, in addition to the upgrades to technology, supplies, and equipment. The investment that the city made in building this gun crimes unit is what has taken that turnaround time and reduced it by half.
Yeah, for the doctor. Just to follow up on what you just said, I know that you can't use rapid DNA systems because of legal reasons. Did you bring in new equipment for to do conventional DNA testing with the enhanced staff?
The largest, the most significant way that we accomplished this was by the infusion of staff. Those 24 scientists who were brought on, were trained within the past year, and are now actively doing the casework. We did make upgrades to our laboratory-wide systems, and we also procured some additional supplies and equipment, but it was primarily the people.
Can you please provide an example or clarity on how the creation of this unit is directly tied to the reduction in gun violence?
So what are you with?
I would say that the formation of this unit allowed us to streamline and focus exclusively, with a unit exclusively devoted to processing gun crimes evidence. And that is something that is demanded by the criminal justice system. In order to process gun crimes cases, in order to carry out with investigation, that is a portion of that puzzle that we are now able to provide an answer quicker, and that helps speed the process.
Is there any metrics to show in the last year how many identifications are actually made through DNA to a weapon? I'm sorry, is there any metrics to show how many identifications are made through DNA to a weapon?
How many identifications?
Among the cases that are gun crimes evidence, there are recovered firearms and there are other types of evidence. The recovered firearms make up a minority of the entire total gun crimes evidence that we process. About 15 to 20% of our cases are recovered firearms. And I'll have to get back to you on the number of positive identifications that were made amongst that minority of those cases.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the DNA databases that you use? Are these only criminal databases? What other sort of access to DNA evidence do you have?
If there are, if the evidence, the evidence that we process is compared, if it's appropriate, to the DNA index locally, as well as the state and the national DNA indices. Those are at the state and federal level criminal databases. So those DNA profiles are compared against the criminal databases.
Maybe for Commissioner Caban, how many cases have you been able to quantify where you've had identifications which have led to an arrest?
I don't have that specific number offhand, but I think it was said here numerous times, it just fills in that piece of the puzzle. If it's that police officer, he or she, that's running after and the body cam catches it, the interrogation, which is videotaped within the detective squad, and putting another piece of DNA, probative guilt to the person who was in possession of that gun. So I couldn't give you a direct number to that, but that's just filling into the pieces of the puzzle.
Under that? No more on topic?
And what I want to do, and every time we have some of these arrests, we get some of the body cam video, and I'm going to put together some of those videos, and I'm really going to invite the men and women of the press to come in and look at. These are some bad people out there. They are really bad. They have no regard for citizens of the city. And when you look at some of this video, some of the things that they do, driving on the sidewalk, shooting in the streets, they don't care if children are there, driving towards police officers. There's just some bad people. They're the minority of New Yorkers, but they carry out an overwhelming amount of crime. And, and I said the other day, and I will say it again, Juneteenth was our celebration of emancipation and end of slavery. That was one of the most deadliest days in our city. 10 shootings, I think 6 homicides. one 16-year-old boy shot in the head, close range. You know, we have to be honest about this. And you know what's interesting? All those anti-police folks didn't raise their voice at all. If Black Lives matter when innocent people are shot on our streets. And I'm not going to continue to remain silent. We cannot continue those who want to carry guns in this city. I made that a promise when I was running, and I'm gonna live up to that promise as the mayor. So we'll do some on topics. Thank you again for what you do. Now, who's out 24? Big 24. Okay, thank you. Let's do a couple of topics. Yes.